Hello students, welcome to NIRS Education Channel. Let us continue the lesson My Childhood. In our previous session, we have seen up to 7th paragraph. Now let us go for the 8th paragraph. On the whole, the small society of Rameshwaram was very rigid in terms of segregation of different social groups. However, my science teacher, Sivasubramania Iyer, though an orthodox Brahmin with a very conservative wife, was something of rebel. On the whole, the small society of Rameshwaram was very rigid. Rigid means unbending or inflexible. Okay. It was very rigid one. It was an inflexible one. In terms of segregation of different social groups, the society was segregated. Segregated means separation of things or people. Based on social groups, the society was divided, separated. However, my science teacher, Sivasubramania Iyer, though an orthodox Brahmin with very conservative wife, was something of a rebel. But his science teacher, Sivasubramania Iyer, he was orthodox Brahmin. Okay, he was orthodox Brahmin, conservative Brahmin, and he had very conservative wife, very orthodox, who follows the rules and regulations of religion very strictly. Was something of a rebel. Though he was Brahmin, though he had conservative wife, he was something of a rebel. He had that rebellious nature. He did his best to break social barriers so that people from varying backgrounds could mingle easily. He did his best to break the social barriers. Barriers means boundary or limit. He tried to break the barriers or limits. Society was divided in the name of religion, in the name of caste. But he tried to break such barriers so that people from varying backgrounds could mingle easily. His intention was that the people from various backgrounds, they have to mingle together. He used to spend hours with me and would say, Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par with highly educated people of the big cities. He used to spend hours with Abdul Kalam, and he would say, Abdul Kalam, that he must develop so that he should par with the highly educated people of big cities. He should par means he should equal value. He should stand equal with highly educated people of big cities. Like this, the teacher Sivasubramania Iyer used to tell to Abdul Kalam, you should grow, you should develop so that you are to stand equal with highly educated people of big cities. One day he invited me to his home for a meal. His wife was horrified at the idea of a Muslim boy being invited to dine in her ritually pure kitchen. One day, Sivasubramania Iyer invited Abdul Kalam to have a meal in his house. But his wife was horrified at the idea of Muslim boy being invited to dine in her ritually pure kitchen. She kept her kitchen ritually pure. Ritually pure means kept protected from all outside influences for the observances of religion. Other religion or other caste people were not allowed to enter her kitchen. She kept it ritually pure. When Abdul Kalam was invited to have dinner in the kitchen, she was horrified by that idea. She refused to serve me in the kitchen. Shiva Subramania Iyer was not perturbed, nor did he get angry with his wife, but instead served me with his own hands and sat down beside me to eat his meal. And she refused to serve Abdul Kalam in the kitchen. Shiva Subramania Iyer was not perturbed. Perturbed means disturbed. Nor did he get angry with his wife. He did not become angry towards his wife. Instead, he himself served Abdul Kalam and sat beside Abdul Kalam to eat his meal. His wife watched us from behind the kitchen door while they were eating. Shiva Subramania Iyer's wife watched them from behind the kitchen door. I wonder whether she had observed any difference in the way I eat rice, drank water, or cleaned the floor after the meal. Abdul Kalam wondered whether she had observed any difference. The way he ate rice, drank water, or cleaned the floor after meal. When I was leaving his house, Shiva Subramania Iyer invited me to join him for dinner again the next weekend. When he was about to leave his house, Shiva Subramania Iyer's house, he invited him to join him for dinner again the next weekend. Observing my hesitation, he told me not to get upset, saying, once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted. Hearing that Abdul Kalam was hesitating, then again Shiva Subramania Iyer said, once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted. When you go to change the system, then you have to confront, you have to face such problems. Okay. Even our family members also may oppose that one. We have to face that one. Okay. Like that, he said. When I visited his house the next week, Shiva Subramania Iyer's wife took me inside her kitchen and served me food with her own hands. For his surprise, when he visited his house next week, Shiva Subramania Iyer's wife herself took him inside her kitchen and served him food with her own hands. In his first visit, she refused to serve him, but in the second visit, she herself took him and served him. In this way, Shiva Subramania Iyer brought such change in his wife. When the Second World War was over, the India's freedom was imminent. Indians will build their own India, declared Gandhiji. The whole country was filled with an unprecedented optimism. I asked my father for permission to leave Rameshwaram and study at the district headquarters in Ramanathapuram. Yes, after the Second World War, India's freedom was imminent. Imminent means about to happen or take place. India was about to get freedom. Indians will build their own India, declared Gandhiji. Gandhiji declared that Indians will build their own India. The whole country was filled with an unprecedented optimism. The whole country, it was filled with an unprecedented means never before seen. It's before there was no such hope, but now there was such hope. Unprecedented optimism. Optimism means hope. I asked my father for permission to leave Rameshwaram and study at the district headquarters in Rameshwaram. That time he asked his father for permission to leave Rameshwaram and to go to Ramanathapuram in order to continue his education. He told me as if thinking aloud. Then he said to his son, okay, Abdul Kalam's father said like this, Abdul, I know you have to go away to grow. Does the seagull not fly across the sun alone and without a nest? And he said, yes, you have to go away in order to grow, in order to get your education. How does a seagull fly across the sun alone without a nest? Okay, leaving its nest, leaving its parents. How does a seagull fly alone in the sky? In the same way, you have to leave your family and you have to go and continue your study. Like this, his father said. He quoted Khalil Gibran to my hesitant mother. Still mother was hesitant. Then Abdul Kalam's father comforted her by telling the poem of Khalil Gibran. What is that poem? See here. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. It's a beautiful poem written by Khalil Gibran. The poem says that your children are not your children. They are sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They came through you, but not from you. They came from God. You may give them your love, but not your thought. Being a parent, you may give your love to children, but you can't give your thoughts because they have their own thoughts. Meaning is that parents should not control the growth of children. Let them to grow as per their wish and ability, as per their potential. There should not be any restriction on children in their growth. With this, we have completed this lesson. Let's go for another topic in the next session. Thank you for watching.